I feel like you're going to be mad at me for picking this next one. I knew nothing about it. I just picked it by the name. Santa Jaws. So I mean, really, what's the description of this? Let me think about it. A kid draws a shark with a Santa hat, and it comes to life.
A kid gets a magic pen.
Yes.
And he's a cartoonist,
right?
And he has a comic book. That
he hangs out in a comic book store with his buddies.
Basically called Santa Jaws.
Right.
And Santa Jaws, basically, his grandfather gives him a pen, a special magic pen that makes his drawings come true. And he traces over the shark in his book and basically writes out the book with the pen, and chaos ensues.
Yes. And that's all we have to say. I give this no, I'm just kidding. What would I rate this one? Let me think.
I have to say, I didn't quite understand that there was a guy that did the effects, and he had his name at the very beginning of it, like in a single page credit. I didn't know what that was about until I watched the film, and I was like, oh, this guy's really proud of this.
Yes. Yeah.
And I have to say, it was different. It was so bad that it kind of went out the backside of worse and came back all the way around through time.
Yes.
Came back around to be worse than that.
I think don't you think the one-liners kind of were even worse?
It was hard to tell. It was really hard to, but I have to say, is the very first snatch of the shark, what took the guy off the, the grandfather, the grandfather snatch was hilarious. It was so bad that I actually grunted. I'm watching, Paula's painting and she's watching TV and I'm watching with the computer. I have my headphones on, and she goes, when I took the headphones off at the end of the movie, she says, there was this thing at the very beginning of the film that you grunted at. What was that? It was this guy getting plucked off of a deck by a Santa shark, and she goes,
I think every kill was pretty much grunt worthy.
Yeah, that one in particular, I was like, what?
Did you not think that like practical effects would have helped this movie a lot because it was all digital? Like if they, one example is the guy that's on the dock and his legs get bitten off. If they just cut a hole through wood, that would have been a lot more impressive, I think, with some real blood coming out or fake blood coming out. But they had him actually walk across with digital blood that didn't even look like blood.
When he walks back down on his, basic.
Did you notice there was no blood on the dock when he got pulled off? There was no blood from where he walked across it.
It was, but then you had to think to yourself, was it trying to be silly? Yes, it was just trying to be silly. And
it was a public block. I mean, it was a public dock, and this was a, low budget film, so they couldn't ruin the dock, otherwise they'd have to pay for it.
This was not a low budget film. This was this had a long ways to go to make up to get to the point of being low budget.
Yeah, I think once I accepted that, well, actually the opening scene.
I used to make low budget films.
When I accepted this movie was going to be bad, it was the opening scene. I said, okay, this is going to be a real treat. So after I accepted that, I think it was more watchable. I was like, okay, this is
Yeah,
gonna be
no,
terrible.
but I accepted it right at the beginning. I was like, well, how bad is? Oh, I see.
There was some creativity though. I liked the creative way the shark got his teeth back. That was amazing.
I do have to admit that I love the narwhal aspect
Yeah.
of it. That was really interesting.
Well, that was the most creative kill, I think, probably.
Yeah, it was the narwhal extension.
Um,
Yeah.
Brown Space Films.
a Star Trek film, Warrior's Death. They were trying to figure out how to battle the shark. I'm like, why can't you just erase the shark?
Yeah,
Or is that...
right. I was like, hello.
And then nobody seemed to care when somebody died. Oh, my dad died. Oh, well, okay, let's move on. Let's try to figure out how to get the shark.
Oh, by the way, can I add something? Because there's an overall point that that this film, it did have that. Oh, well, Timmy died.
Yeah.
You know, okay. You Timmy died, and there was something that I have to say about when my wife and I have been watching a lot of black and white films out of the 30s and 40s lately. And God, I gotta tell you, YouTube has got a dump of 30s and 40s films that is freaking massive. I mean, I could not believe I just discovered it recently, just this year, that YouTube just has like every other service has got a few black and white films. YouTube has got a stunning amount of them.
And it's good quality too. It's like
some
HD
of them are
usually.
just and some of them
Well,
are
not HD.
really,
You know what I mean? Like upgraded.
yeah, some of them are really good. But the thing that you do notice about this is that, especially on the smaller budget ones, is they kill off like like murder mysteries. We've watched a whole bunch of them, and it's like somebody gets killed off, and everybody goes, "Oh,
That
look,
happened."
they killed Tim," and that, it's like there was that thing about that in a lot of the 30s and 40s films. Well, somebody died, right? And it's like grief was kind of small, but then we saw the very opposite in one of the last films that we were looking at, and boy, that was grief. When it was like the full. What was the name of that film?
Which one? The one we did last time?
Yeah.
The one we're gonna do next week.
Right. The one,
Aniara?
Yeah, Aniara. Oh my God, talk about grief. Those people did grief like like
Yeah, but they're Swedish. They handled grief pretty well.
yeah, they really put it out there, man.
The world is ending. Let's just go have sex. Whatever.
Yeah, but when somebody died, man, they wailed.
Yeah.
They wailed. And and the thing is this film reminded me of the 30s and 40s with, oh, well, Jimmy's gone. Oh, Johnny's gone. Oh, my brother's gone. My sister's gone. And it's like,
well, there was a
Rats.
line though where he gave one of his monologues and he said,
"They killed my brother. They killed my dad. They killed my grandpa. We gotta fight back."
Yeah, we gotta fight back.
yeah, it was.
okay,
yeah.
my favorite thing. I do have a favorite thing about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is from this area that it was shot in, so I was looking at the credits. I'm like, oh, because I was thinking it was Florida, and I was like, okay, it looks like it's Florida. It has oak trees, Spanish moss. Okay, it looks like Florida somewhere, or maybe could be Louisiana, possibly. I don't know. And then I saw the credits: Covington, Mandeville, and Madisonville are all around where my wife is from, and so I was like, oh, that's cool. And so I'll probably recommend this to my mother-in-law.
And what state was that?
This is Louisiana.
Oh, Louisiana. Oh,
They're literally like 30 minutes away from where my in-laws live.
I would have accepted Louisiana, Florida, or confusion as answers.
Well, it is the state of confusion. I mean, actually,
Yeah,
every state
totally.
south of where you are is the state of confusion, especially Florida.
Yeah. I was thinking the other day how I was so lucky to have been in Tennessee just at the time Trump was getting relaxed. The year that Trump was getting quote unquote reelected, and and how much these people got into their Trump posters and flags, and it must have taken people just weeks and weeks, or just days of like toil and trouble to get all those freaking flags off of all their trucks and front yards, everything, because they're gone.
Well, they had a bunch of Trump signs all over the place here, but then I noticed like the day after the election, one of the Trump signs had all these bullet holes through it. And I'm like, wow. It's like,
Yeah, wow.
Because they were pissed.
Yeah, there was one going up to Ian's house that I used to drive through all the time. Because it was you had to go up that hill, right? But at the bottom of the hill, there was like a little dirt like road that kind of like went and cut the corner, and people had decided to like set up this enormous Trump sign right there that had a banner across it. It just happened to be just perfectly that you could drive your car through it.
Wow.
And I know that
I would have had a camera set up.
they put it up all the time, and I would have loved them to have a camera put up for that. You know,
No, I mean, you should have put a camera. It would have been cool to see like you plowing through it and then here's
You
a
know what?
montage of me blowing through the sign.
I'm from a time where you didn't film everything.
Oh.
Things that we filmed. The funny things is, for the most part, the things that we filmed, we called movies.
Right. Well,
and I did it professionally and semi-professionally, both at the same time.
there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Now you're an amateur.
Yeah, really.
Sorry, I had to get that in there.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
I will say the biggest flaw in this movie is they ended it wrong. Like I would have had the guy, the creepy guy, the comic book guy, speaking Russian at the end.
Yeah.
The devil is in my
ear.
That's
right. Yeah, the devil. Diablo.
He was telling me that.
Yeah.
I love this movie. It's great. It's getting warm in here.
Yeah, it is.
So anyway, there's really nothing else to say about this movie, I don't think.
There is nothing to say about this movie. I really don't know what to say about this movie. It's this movie. I expected it to be the worst, and it lived down to its expectations.
I think it was worse than that.
Yeah, I mean, this was absurdly bad.
They really tried.
Tried what? No, they didn't. That's the thing. No, wait.
Well, no, there's a difference between trying and not really knowing how to do something, which I think this case is the case here. And then people not trying.
There's a lot of both of those. The acting was bad. The camera work was bad. The look was bad. There was no cohesive anything.
The lighting was great. It was all outside during the day, but anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, and the other thing is it was all outside during the day. We used to have this thing is when we were doing TV movies, like really bang them, and we used to call them diseases of the week. And
right.
It was a.
What are you talking about, like the movies of the week, like they used to do on like NBC, like the Hallmark movies of today?
They are like the Hallmark movies of today.
Right.
But all the networks had them, back in the 80s. And you could always kill a good 3 weeks. You could always kill a good month and a week that way, because you did 2 weeks of prep and then 3 weeks of shooting, and then basically you got paid for a week of wrapping, but you just wrapped it as you went along anyway. So you had like basically 6 weeks of pay for 5 weeks of work, and you went off and did something else,
Wow, that sounds good.
And
you work with the same actors, right? Meredith Baxter Burney.
I did. As a matter of fact, Meredith Baxter.
I just
Birney,
threw that out.
Yeah, and I worked with her. She was a terrible human being. She was horrible. Oh my God, she was so hard to work with.
Wow.
She really thought that she was a star. And the thing is TV movies had their own thing. You know, like I mean, there were worlds that never mixed. Hallmark movies was a whole thing. I mean, that was crews and actors and stuff that always worked on the same thing, that would rotate a few of the A-list movie, not so much movie, but TV movie people. The people from TV that kind of like moved, beyond their first series, and where they were popular, they would start doing TV movies, and they would be the A-list actors for those TV movies, and they really thought that they were hot, and those are the only movies that they did. And then at the same time, they would occasionally rotate in and out of the Hallmark movies also, and then come back and do a couple of TV movies and a Hallmark movie, TV movies, and then do guest appearances on new TV shows and stuff. And I swear to God, they were the most stuck up star-like people you've ever seen in your life. They were just horrible. And Meredith Baxter Birney was there at the very, very heart of it all, man. She was a disaster. What the frick happened? I went away.
You're still here.
Am I?
Yeah.
I'm not here anymore.
Where am I?
Yeah, where am I actually? All of a sudden it says have an immersive online experience on Zoom. But how do
I'm looking at your face.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll keep continuing as if I can see myself.
You don't need to see yourself. I mean, I kind of would prefer if I didn't see myself. But
yeah, well, there you go. So being as I can't see myself anymore.
I have one more question about that. So,
Sure.
Did some of these people in these movies that you're talking about, were they on Tales from the Dark Side, or was that too A-list for that?
No, they wouldn't be on Tales from the Dark Side, because Tales from the Dark Side was more below that level. These
really?
Are the A-list.
Well, I guess Tales from the Dark Side was people that were done with their career generally, right?
Yeah, generally. Yeah,
Okay.
generally. And we had a lot of oddballs. We had like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, what, was he a star? I mean, he wasn't. He is a really good author, though.
Really?
Yeah,
I
I
had no
know.
idea.
It's really weird. You should read. Everybody out there should read. If you look up, he's written a couple of Sherlock Holmes books that are really good.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. I never knew that.
Plus, he's written extensively about race and society and stuff like that. He's a very, very smart guy.
What's funny is you look like you're blind now because you're like,
yeah, because I have no idea where to put my eyes. It's like
just pick a spot on your screen and stare at it.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So what did you rate this? I don't think we had a rating. I think I'd give this like a.
So
I think
anyway,
if I have to rate it something, I guess I give it a 0.2. No,
Yeah.
0.1. 0.1.
Yeah, I 0.01.
I give it a 0.1 because it's in a cool area. It's shot in a cool place.
I know nothing about the cool area.
It's near Abita Springs. I mean, it's kind of close to there, and that's where they have really good beer. Abita Springs beer is so good.
You know what's funny is that opening shot of the marina itself, where everything was kind of like spread out in front of you, right? The shots never got better.
I like how things can move through the water, and the water didn't move. Just like
Yeah,
you just see the shark going through the water, but the water wasn't even rippling at all.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah,
But anyway.
and the shark could get people from really bizarre angles.
Yeah, he was very acrobatic.
Yeah. So I'm going to go 0.01, and I mean it. And Beans is I feel like I'm blind.
I think I'm the Roger Ebert of the group here, of the two of us.
Is that what this is?
Because I'm more generous. I think Ebert was always more generous with his ratings.
Oh, and I'm the elitist bastard?
It kind of works.
Wow. Wow, you suck. Okay. Well, so Santa Jaws is
not really recommended.
Two Christmas trees straight down.
Don't even bother with the Christmas trees.
Yeah.
I would take the balls and just break them.
Ho ho ho, freaking ho.
So Merry Christmas, because this is our Christmas episode.
Merry Christmas, ho ho ho, freaking ho.
Our New Year's episode, or our New Year's Eve episode, is going to be amazing. It's a good way to end the year. Very uplifting. It's called Aniara. Stay tuned.
You unlucky bastards.
Well, next year we're going to be more upbeat, I think.
Yeah.
We'll do
Christmas.
more comedy.
Yeah. That's what we say now.